Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's good. Thank you. That's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. You know, I was standing in the back listening to Dave talk, and he talked about the principles of connection. I think that's the way he put it. I'm going to show you something here before I'm done based on the principles of connection. And I thought it rather sort of strange that he would be talking about that, because I'm going to show you probably from a spiritual perspective or from a psychological perspective, how we actually do connect. And it's not something everybody understands. You know, we're talking here about creating your own economy. There's a lot of paradoxes in life, and this is one of them. When you create your own economy, it's got nothing to do with the economy. It has to do with your thinking. And when we really understand that, I think that's when we start to maneuver in the direction we really want to move and enjoy the life that God decided that we should enjoy. And many years ago, when I remember the first record I ever heard. I was into the book Think and Grow Rich. And everywhere I went, I was like a Napoleon Hill disciple. I was going to save the whole world. Everybody had to buy that book. And I'd buy all they had in the store, and I would give them away, and then I'd go back and I'd buy more, and I'd give them away. And I probably imagine that half the people never read it that I gave it to, and the other half probably maybe didn't even understand it. But I kept doing this, and I gave it to a man one time, Harold Rose. He worked for City Buick Pontiac in Toronto. And I was very enthusiastic about this book. I mean, everybody had to have the book. And Harold said, "You really like this, do you?" And I said, "Yeah, I really do." So anyway, he said, "Come on with me." And he took me home, and he put a record on, a long-playing record. Now, I never heard anybody talk like this record before. It was by Charlie Cullen. Charlie's long gone, but Charlie came from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he was a phenomenal speaker. And I got so jazzed listening to this record, I wanted to borrow it. He wouldn't even let me touch it. He said, "No." He said, "If you want one, you can go down to Sam's or A&A Records down on Yonge Street, downtown Toronto, and go and ask for Sales Motivation Records." So I went in, and this room would have made that record store look small. They had records in bins, and you'd go through the bins, and they'd have, for different areas. So anyway, if my head had been screwed on right, I would have bought all the records in the Sales Motivation bin. But I'm looking for Charlie Cullen's record, and I couldn't find it. But I did find Think and Grow Rich on a record. And I recognized it right away because it had the same cover on it that was on the book. And so I bought the record and I took it home. I have not that record, but one exactly like it sitting on my mantle at home. And every now and then I have a record player down beside my desk, and I lift it up, a little battery-operated record player, and I put it on and I listen to it. Just for old time's sake, I could put a little nano in my ear and listen to it. But I like to play the record. And so I play this record. Now, I drove around playing that record for a long, long time. And I'm going to tell you what happened because I did that. But one of the other records I picked up was by Elmer Wheeler. And he said, "Nothing happens till somebody sells something." I thought that was pretty interesting. And he also said, "Sell the sizzle, not the steak." And he was the guy that said, people don't buy quarter-inch drills because they want quarter-inch drills. People buy quarter-inch drills because they want quarter-inch holes. Now, that really saved my life at one point because I was out trying to sell records for Nightingale Conant later on, and I couldn't sell them. But then that registered in my mind, so I put the records away and started to sell what the records would do. And so as a result, I'm still in the business. But selling is the highest paid profession in the world. Now think of this. In every situation, there's a buyer and there's a seller. The seller is the highest paid professional in the world. No one can earn the kind of money that a professional salesperson can earn. Now, this is rather strange because it's something like acting, I suppose. You'd say actors are the highest paid, but they're also the lowest. Well, salespeople are the highest paid, and they're also the lowest. But the potential is there to literally earn millions of dollars. Now, there's something stopping that, and that's what I want to talk to you about for a while here, and that's paradigms. Paradigms stop us right in our tracks. They really do. And most people don't know what a paradigm is. If you asked your neighbor, they probably don't know. They may not even know how to spell it. But paradigms are really controlling our life. I heard Dave ask you, how many would like to know what's stopping you? Well, I'll tell you in one word. It's your paradigm. Now, he'll go through some analysis in their test, and I would imagine they're pretty accurate. And he'll tell you this paradigm or that paradigm or this habit or that habit. Because it's all habit patterns. That's what a paradigm is. It's a multitude of habits. Now, a long time ago, in fact, in 1961, I've been at this business for a long time. I've been at it longer than most of you have been living. That is when my life really took a change because I was given this book. And I've been reading this particular copy since 1963. I had one for a couple of years before that, but my brother had this one bound in Morocco leather and gave it to me as a gift in 1963. It took them 6 months to get the book back because the people that were binding it were reading it, and they didn't want to give it back to him. You see? But I've never stopped reading this book. And when it comes to Napoleon Hill, there's probably not many people alive, with the possible exception of Don Greenback, that really know what Hill did any better than I do. I mean, I go back, I've studied Carnegie. I've mentally been in the room when Carnegie posed the big question to him. I've asked myself, how would I answer the question? And it's just such a phenomenal trip this man went on. And he studied 500 of the world's most successful people. So the man that gave me the book, he said, listen, if you do exactly what I tell you, do exactly what you think he's telling you, you're going to win. Now, I had no reason to believe that. I was 26 years old, and I had never wanted anything in my life. I got kicked out of school when I was in high school for 2 months. I had no business experience. I worked at dumb jobs. I went in the Navy. I come out of the Navy. I worked in bars and in factories. And in fact, I was on the fire department. That was the best job I ever got. And when I read this book. Now, most people who go on the fire department, they die there, you know, because they're only working 7 days or 7 nights a month. And they're virtually retired. And especially if you're in a hall I was in, because there wasn't even any fires. I mean, it was in real imposition. If we had to get up in the middle of the night and go put out a fire, we would go in there, go sleep, and then go play golf. So, you know, it was actually a pretty good job for me, and that was the best job I'd ever had. But I started to read this book. And when I started to read the book, my mind was on a different frequency of thought than everybody else in the fire hall, and my life started to change. Now, this book literally changed the course of my life. When I picked it up to read it, I was earning $4,000 a year, and I owed $6,000. And he said, you know, write what you want on a card. Carry the card in your pocket and read it as often as possible every day. Now, I've been doing that since October 1961. And I wrote on the card that I was going to have in my possession by New Year's Day of 1970, $25,000. I gave myself a decade to pull this deal off. I really didn't believe it was going to happen. I didn't even know anyone with $25,000. We'd have had to sell one of the pumpers or the aerial ladders to come up with that kind of money. But I kept reading the card. And I kept reading the book. And I kept listening to the record. Now, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was literally changing my paradigm. It took me 10 years to figure that out. But you know, in nothing flat, I started earning money. Now, a year later, I was earning $175,000 a year. And not too long after that, I was earning over $1 million a year. I have come to the conclusion that earning money is one of the simplest things anybody can learn. It's just that most people don't believe that, and so they never really study how to earn money. You earn money by providing service. The law says give and you'll receive. But we're not raised to believe that. We're raised to do anything. It's trade. You know, I'll give you this if you give me that. And we're really not taught to give. Well, the more you give, the more you're going to receive. It's a basic concept. In fact, Emerson said it was the law of laws. This entire universe operates by law. There are no accidents. Warren von Braun, I quote him on The Secret, he said that the natural laws of this universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships, sending people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. He also said these laws must have been set by someone. And he said after years of studying the spectacular mysteries of the cosmos, he had come into a firm belief in the existence of God. Now here's the father of the space program, great scientist, and we always thought science and religion were antagonistic. They're not. They're right on the same track. One studies the cause and the other studies the effect. That's my opinion anyway. Well, here I was winning, and I didn't know why. And I had to start asking myself some questions. And I wanted to know, why was I winning? I had a real screwed up past. Never really got in any trouble, but I never did anything of any consequence. So, I mean, I was losing all the time. I was going down lots of roads, but they're always the wrong road. And when anybody come along and give me good advice, it was like a foreign language. I just didn't listen to it. And so I just kept losing. Now, I'd been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. But I was earning a lot of money, and I knew I wasn't very smart. And so I thought, that can't be true. Then I had been raised to believe, if you're going to win in business, you've got to have a good formal education. Well, I didn't have any. I mean, 2 months high school, and I probably cheated to get that far. And I didn't just have a good position, I owned the company. You see, when I carried that card for the $25,000, I heard someone say there's good money cleaning offices. I said, I'm not proud, I'll clean offices. So I got a contract to clean one office. $15 a time. I'll wash the floor twice a month. Then I got a contract. It was Canada Starch on Comstock Road in Toronto. I'll never forget it. Then I got a contract to clean Kirby's Construction. That was $65 a month. Now I'm up to $95 a month. Now I was only earning $400 a month to start with. Well, you know, in less than 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. We were going like a rocket. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But that's not unusual. I've gone to work for some of the largest companies in the world. I did a lot of work with the Prudential. That's the largest insurance company in the world. They do not know why their stars are stars. Rudy Michaud phoned me about 2 years ago. He ran 40% of Metropolitan Life. He said, my daughter saw something about you on the internet, and I just wanted to phone and thank you for all the good work you did for our company. This was 25 years before. They didn't know why their stars were stars. You can go into the largest companies in the world. They do not know why their top people are top people. You know, almost everyone that wins in a big way is an unconscious competent. They cannot articulate on why they're winning. Yet, for the very same reason, 97% of our population are stuck. It's not that they're not smart enough. They are smart enough. They got the education. We got people walking the streets with a master's and a doctorate in commerce and finance, and they're in debt. They don't know how to earn money. 80% of the people that are teaching have never done what they're teaching. I want you to think about some of this, because I'm going to show you something here that's rather startling. How the heck did that happen to me? Well, I want to know. And since that's what I was looking for, that's exactly what I found. I want to know why I was winning. It took me 9 years, but I found out. And I'm going to share it with you. And I started listening to Think and Grow Rich, and then I started to listen to The Strangest Secret. And after having my own business and earning a few $100,000 a year, I took a job for $18,000 a year. 5 years later, I was earning $33,000. I went to work with an Ideal Conine Corporation. You see, Earl and Lloyd were my mentors, and I worked with them for 5 years. I was prepared to pay them to let me work there, because I knew that he knew what I was looking for. Now, I not only got to work with Earl, I got to work with Lloyd. I got to be their vice president of sales. Now, the only reason I didn't want to be the vice president of anything, I wanted an office beside his. And I got an office beside both of them. And if Earl ordered a book, his secretary ordered me one. She always had some money of mine. If he subscribed to a magazine, I got a magazine. She subscribed for me. If he had an important appointment with Lowell Thomas or Harry Coffer or somebody coming in, I would study up in them. And when they walked out of his office, I would step out of my office and I'd introduce myself and ask for a couple of minutes. Some of these people became my friends. But I started to pick some of the most phenomenal minds that ever walked on the planet. I want to know, why did I change? You see, I just didn't buy into the idea that there was some emotional or capricious God on a cloud somewhere that blessed me and left everyone else to sink. I did not believe that. And so I kept studying. And I kept studying. And I found that most people are extras in their own movie. They really are. Now, I put the dots together, I figured it out, and as Dave mentioned a few minutes ago, he was talking about being shy. I was shy. I was very shy, I was very quiet, and very withdrawn. And I would never ask a question in a crowd. I had just a ton of information in my head. I not only knew how to win, I knew how to teach people to win. But I was afraid to talk. And I was very frustrated because I had all this information inside of me. My nature is I'm very cerebral, very quiet, very withdrawn. That was my nature. But I was in a meeting at the back of the hotel, at the back of the ballroom in the O'Hare Hyatt. And Bill Gove was the speaker. And Bill had a handheld mic, and he's looking over an audience, and he said, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me that I think you think I should be. Not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. Not the me that I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Now, I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm thinking, my God, this guy ever good at what he's doing. If only I could do that. Now, let me digress for a moment. On Earl Nightingale's Magic Word, that's the first record in his Lead the Field series, at one point he says, now right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things we can do, the goals we can accomplish, and for some equally strange reason, we think other people can accomplish things that we cannot. He says, I want you to understand that's not true. That you have deep reservoirs of talent and ability within you. You can bring them to the surface. Now, if you'd asked me if I understood that, if you played the record, I'd say, of course I understood it. Hell, I'd listened to it a couple of thousand times probably. Of course I understand it. I didn't understand it at all. I could repeat it. I could even mimic him and do it, and do a pretty good job. But I didn't understand it. Because here I was, watching Bill Gove, thinking, if only I could do that. And all of a sudden, that record started to play in my head. Now, right here, we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the thing. I thought, that's what he means by that. That's exactly what he means. And I made up my mind right then that I was not only going to learn to do what Bill Gove was doing, I was going to get him to teach me. And Bill Gove and I were the very best of friends right up until he died. In fact, I phoned him just the day before he died, and I didn't get talking to him. I was talking to his daughter, but she told him that I was on the phone, and Bill passed away. Now, the last time he spoke was at a conference that I was running for our company. It was down in Florida. That was in October. Bill passed away early December. If he had lived till January, he would have been 90. And I had this thing professionally videotaped. We had multiple cameras around. It was a real professional shoot. And after he died, I thought, wow, that is worth something. And then I thought of what he gave me. And so I phoned Steve Siebold, who was his partner, and I phoned Ada, his widow, and I said, I've got something that I think belongs to you, and I gave them the video. That was the last talk Bill Gove made. Now, if you never saw Bill Gove, you missed something, because he was considered the Frank Sinatra of speakers. He was absolutely incredible. And I've been around long enough that most of these people were pretty good friends of mine. I heard Dave up here talking about Og Mandino and I were very... when I was the VP of sales at Nightingale Conant, Og was the editor of Success Unlimited, a little house organ for combined insurance. And that was a forerunner for Success Magazine. So I'd go around the corner and I'd shoot the breeze with him. We'd go for lunch or something like that. And we just became good friends. We had a lot in common. We studied the same stuff. And I went there one day, and Dave suggested I tell you this story. I wasn't going to tell it, but I was thinking it would be a good story to share with you. And I was in his office one day, and he said, you know, Helen and I are having some real problems. And he started, you want to know if I would tell him what to do. And I said, Og, I said, that's way out of my area of expertise. And I quickly changed the subject. Helen's his wife. And I got back to my office, and his book was on my desk, Greatest Salesman. So I wrote a note in it. I said, to Og, the answer you're looking for is in this book. Love and Light, Bob Proctor. And I went right back to his office, and I gave it to him. And I said, here, Og, read the book. The answer you're looking for is in this book. Now, we have to move ahead about 25 years. Guys didn't see, I saw him Og off and on, but then I didn't see him for a long time. Jeannie Robertson, the Rice twins, and myself, and Og were on a program in Toronto. And Jeannie and the Rice twins and myself were having dinner at the hotel. Og was coming in on a later flight. He came in, and he still had a leather jacket on that, and he put his bags down, and he came over and gave us all a hug, and he said, oh, he says, I got something for you. And he went back, and he dug a book out of his bag, and he came back, he said to me, you can have this back. It worked. And so I've got that book in my library. To Og, the answer you're looking for is in this book. Okay. So if you're reading the greatest salespeople in the world, greatest salesmen in the world, and you're having problems, that'll solve all kinds of problems. Most people are extras in their own movie. See, I was extra in my own movie. Bill was a star, but not me. Well, the truth is, we're all stars. It's just that some of us are not shining very bright. But we can, and we can turn the light up with will. Now, there's what you got to ask yourself. What do I really want? What do I really want? If we ask that question, good things start to happen. Good things just start to happen. Now, from here on, I'm not going to talk about me or anything that I'm doing. I want to talk about you. And I had a package here. This is a program. And where's Gina? Gina, there's a Pixie in the room? She's not here. Well, I want you to give that lady in the back of the room a hand. Gina, give her a big hand. I'm going to tell you why. Gina has worked with me for 27 years. she makes sure everything's looked after. And I said, Gina, Greg said this is a strange seminar. It's called The Secret Knock. And I didn't know what was secret about it. I thought maybe it was a Masonic order or something. And well, they got a secret handshake. No, this is a secret knock. Well, how'd that song go? You know, 3 times you whisper low. There's a song about that. Anyway, the song's older than you, too. Anyway, Gene and Pixie come down, and they wrapped 235 of these. This is a phenomenal program. I'll tell you a little bit about it as I get into it. And if you were to go online, this program would cost you about $1,200, $1,300. And I said to Gina, Greg doesn't want you selling anything there, so we're going to give this program to everybody. All right? Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now, that's good. This is an incredible program. I'll tell you a bit about how it was made. There's 12 DVDs and an exercise book. It is really an extraordinary program. We spent a lot of money shooting this. It's very well done. We train people to teach this. We have consultants in, I think, 94 countries that are teaching this program, thinking into results. It's extremely well done. And I got an idea as I was sitting in the back of the room. We're giving you this. You can take it. You don't even have to give us anything for it. And it's all gift wrap for you. And I think Greg's going to figure out how to hand them out. Now, they're giving money to the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which happens to be one of my very favorite places. And I thought it'd be a good idea of you to give the Napoleon Hill Foundation something so that they can keep this great work going. And so whatever you think that might be worth to you, you might say, here, I'm going to give this to the Hill Foundation. Now, if you don't want to pay them, that's fine. You just take it because I've given it to you. It's yours. It's a gift. But there's 52 years of in-depth research in that program. That is not a light program. Now, I'm going to proceed now to tell you something about what's in that program. You know, Buckminster Fuller was a pretty bright guy. He changed everybody's paradigm. He said, you never change things by fighting existing reality. To change things, you build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Well, you know, the first time I read that, I thought that's exactly what I did when I got this book. I built a new model, and it made the old model obsolete. I have had the most phenomenal experience in life. I work all over the world, literally. In another week, I'll be in Taiwan. Here today, I'll be in Toronto tomorrow. But I travel all over the world. And everywhere I go, people know this book. They understand that there's good information in here. This is the kind of material that lasts forever. See, in 1908, Carnegie knew how valuable the information was. He was very selective, and he picked the right guy to go out and study the laws of achievement and put it together in an organized, coherent manner so that you and I could benefit from it. He said it was a shame that people like himself were going to the grave with all this knowledge in their bones and turn into dust. That is such a wise statement. You do not change things. Some of you are trying to fight existing reality. It doesn't work. Now, I want you to keep your eye on the ball here. And I'm going to now show you some of the most valuable information that I have learned in the past 52 years. Without question, it is some of the most valuable information that I have ever come across. Now, we talk about the mind-money connection. Everybody wants to learn how to earn more money. There's nothing to it. But you see, most people don't understand the mind. See, no one's ever seen the mind. Mind is not a thing. Mind is movement. The body is the manifestation of that movement. If you just stand and watch the way a person behaves, you'll know what's going on in their mind. because their body's an instrument of their mind. Whatever's going on in the mind is expressed through the body. The body is an instrument of the mind. Now the mind, let that circle represent the mind. I let the person's head represent the mind. I can just glance at you and I can tell you all kinds of things about you. Like, I don't know your name. What's your name?
Tom Brown.
Tom Brown. Tom Brown's a very left-brain guy. If you're going to sell him something, you want to take your time. You've got to give him lots of facts and figures. If he tells you he's broke, you know he's not telling you the truth. He's saying you haven't made me want what you've got, because he's always got some money stuck away for a rainy day. Now, you, on the other hand, what's your name? Ron has got a shy side to him. You know, he has a very sensitive side to him. You can hurt his feelings very easy, but he's also got that left brain side to him too. You operate from both hemispheres of your brain, so you'll have conflicts. Do it, don't do it's going on in your mind a lot. See, the emotional, sensitive right brain side of you, it's impulsive. The other side's very orderly and articulate, Tom, and it's saying, don't do it, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it. So if I were selling you guys, I would really know which way to go. I'd be very tuned into your energy, and if you happen to be in your right brain, they're going to move like a rocket, and if you move over into the left brain, I'd take my time, give you facts and figures. Now, I don't have to ask them if I'm right. I know I'm right. I know this is a woman. I know that's a man. You'll say, Bob, that is brilliant. How did you figure that out? Well, you'll say everybody knows she's a woman and he's a man. No, everybody doesn't know it. Babies don't know it. Baby has to become aware of the difference in gender. Do you know what our problem is? At a very early age, we stop developing awareness. And, you know, we're into the intellect. What's 2 + 2? What's this and that? And so we go crazy on the intellect. And we got people walking out of universities today. They're up to here in debt. Yet it can't be bankrupt. The school debt is greater in the United States of America than the credit card debt. And they can't even find work. They're paying a fortune to gather information they're never going to use. It's rather interesting. Well, let that represent the mind.